You don't need to come to the funeral, my sister said. It's for people who actually loved Mom. I paid for everything, the flowers, the casket, the headstone. When she showed up late, the priest read a letter with her name on it. She went pale before the first line was finished. The phone call felt like a shard of ice pressed against my ear. My sister Clara's voice was as smooth and cold as polished marble. The service is on Friday, she said, the words clipped, devoid of any shared grief. There was a pause, and I knew what was coming next. I had been bracing for it ever since the hospital called, ever since the world had tilted on its axis. But you don't need to come, she continued, the practiced sympathy in her tone making it all the more venomous. It's for people who actually loved Mom. The line went dead, but the silence it left behind screamed. It was an accusation that had been echoing in the background of my life for years, a constant, low hum of Clara's making. Alara, the difficult one. Alara, the disappointment. Alara, who broke her mother's heart. For a moment, I just stood in my small apartment, the phone still clutched in my hand, and let the sheer, breathtaking cruelty of it wash over me. She had finally said it outright. The subtext had become text. My own sister, telling me I was not welcome to mourn our mother. I didn't cry. The shock was too profound. A physical blow that had knocked the wind out of me, leaving me hollow and strangely calm. My grief for Mom was a vast, silent ocean inside me, and Clara's words were just a stone skipping across the surface. The real tragedy was already unfolding within. But her challenge, her final, audacious attempt to erase me from our mother's life, and now from her death, sparked something else. Not rage, not yet. It was a cold, clear-eyed resolve. She wanted to curate our mother's memory, to be the sole arbiter of her legacy, to stand at the funeral as the perfect, grieving daughter. She wanted to own our mother's death, just as she had tried to own her life. I hung up the phone and made a different call, the first of many. I called the funeral home Clara had mentioned, the one in our hometown. My voice was steady, unnervingly so. I identified myself as Eleanor Vance's daughter. I'll be handling all the arrangements, I said, the words feeling foreign and powerful in my mouth, and I will be covering all the costs. Please send any and all invoices directly to me. There was a brief, surprised silence on the other end of the line, then a polite, of course. Miss Vance. I chose the casket, a simple, elegant cherry wood that Mom would have liked. I chose the flowers, a cascade of white lilies and gardenias, her favorites, the ones she grew in the backyard before she got too sick. I wrote the check for the cemetery plot next to my father, and then I selected the headstone, a modest granite slab, and dictated the inscription, Eleanor Vance, beloved mother, she is at peace. In the days that followed, I existed in a strange state of suspended animation. I moved through the world, but I wasn't really in it. My grief was a private sacred thing, a room inside me that I kept locked. The outside world was for logistics. It was for dealing with florists and stonemasons and a soft-spoken funeral director who treated me with a gentle deference that felt both comforting and deeply wrong, given what my own sister thought of me. Clara, I assumed, was busy performing her role as the grieving daughter for the benefit of our extended family, soaking up their sympathy, her face a perfect mask of sorrow. I imagined her telling them I was too unstable to be involved, that I was distancing myself as I always did. It was her favorite narrative. I didn't correct her. I let her spin her web. I let the relatives call, their voices laced with pity and a faint, frustrated disapproval. Alara, honey, Clara says you're not even helping with the arrangements. Your mother would have wanted. I would just listen, my heart a cold, heavy stone in my chest. I'm handling it, I'd say, and leave it at that. They didn't understand. They couldn't. They had only ever seen the play Clara directed. The day of the funeral was gray and damp, the sky weeping a miserable drizzle. I arrived early. I wanted a moment with Mom alone before the performance began. I walked into the hushed, lily-scented chapel and saw the cherry wood casket, surrounded by the flowers I had chosen. It was beautiful. It was right. I walked up to it, laid my hand on the polished wood, and finally, the tears came.
Full story on channel link below.